I reached into my pocket. The pimp thought I was going to take out cash. When I took out the brass knuckles, he barely had time to register any surprise before I broke his nose. He crumpled, and I gave him a black eye. Then another. That's when the big guy who'd been standing by the door came stomping over. I knew the type by the way he moved, lots of gym time. Found it simple to strong-arm the freaks and Johns who had no fighting skills. I really didn't have any fighting skills either. But I had nothing to lose. I'd bet on not giving a fuck against any martial art any day of the week. I swiveled my hips, whipping my leg around and catching Bouncer Boy on the chin. He folded like a bad poker hand. The pimp was frantically trying to pull something out of his jeans. A knife, maybe, or a cell phone to call 911. I crouched down next to him, pulling his hand away. "How many fingers did we agree on?" I asked. He didn't answer, so I broke all 5. What did pimps need fingers for? I left him sobbing, tossed some money down on the bar for the drinks, and walked out, my whole body trembling with fear and adrenaline. Then I bent over and puked on the sidewalk. Not from the booze. I could handle my booze. It was the pain. Earl. I needed a bump. Hell, I needed a few lines. But that was the reason I was back in Chinatown. I'd spent most of my money on drugs and whores, and the rest I'd just wasted. So I had to slum it until I made more. In the meantime, I was happy about my quid pro quo arrangement with Sugar, which I was beginning to suspect wasn't her real name. She met me outside just as I was popping a few mints. Throwing Up and I were old pals.
"You fight good. What are you dying of?"
"Cancer," I said. "Pancreas."
"Well, you fight good."
She was wrong. What I did was beat people up good. If violence came down to an actual fight with both parties having a chance at winning, I'd done it wrong.
"You live close?" she asked.
"Not too far. My truck is over there." She followed me to the Bronco. I walked around before I got in, not doing a full inspection, but doing a quick visual check. Wheels were good. Tape was untampered with. I unlocked her door and started it up. Sugar screamed, practically blowing out my right eardrum. I followed her gaze, saw Fu Manchu had followed us into the parking lot. I'd been wrong, and so had Sugar. The pimp hadn't been reaching for a knife. Instead, he was holding a small revolver in his left hand, pointing it in the general direction of my Bronco. Sloppy, Phin. You deserve to get shot for being so careless. But apparently, he wasn't a lefty because he fired twice and couldn't hit shit. I punched the gas, heading for him. Manchu's eyes got wide and he got 2 steps away. I swerved after him, and my tire met his foot. My tire won. "That was on me," I said to her. "No extra charge." Never did like pimps much. Sex workers provided a much-needed service, and they were hampered by my country's ridiculous puritanical streak and accompanying bullshit laws. So rather than be taxed and regulated and protected like any decent society should do with their whores, hell, anyone providing that service should be revered as well as protected. They were preyed upon by assholes like that guy. I guess we'll see how well he could pimp from a wheelchair.
"And this is on me,"
Sugar said, reaching for the top button of my jeans. I parked in some alley. We steamed up the windows, and at some point I passed out. That last martini finally doing its job.